It's now time for the big story. And as I put in my post on social media, political showdown. JLP and PNP face off in 3 national debates before September 3 elections. The Jamaica Debates Commission chairman is my guest at this time, and we say good morning to my good friend Brian Schmidt. Good morning, Brian. How are you, my brother?
Hey, I'm great, Richie. How are you doing?
I am doing well.
Spoken for a minute, right?
Yes, it's been a while, and I hope that you've been doing well.
I'm doing fine. Wouldn't complain at all.
All right, Brian. Great having you on this with us this morning. And, we have to be talking to you at a time like this. General elections are just around the corner, and we have come to expect that there will be the highly watched and anticipated debates. Now I'm understanding that between both major political parties, they have agreed to have 3 debates this year. What can you tell us about the organization and the preparation so far?
Okay, the Jamaica Debates Commission is a registered charitable organization, and it is a creature of the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce and the Media Association Jamaica, which came together in 2002, actually, to start producing debates in Jamaica. And we've been doing so ever since. It is run by a group of volunteers who have decided, that this is very, very important work in the public interest. And, we do it to help to defend, maintain, and strengthen our democracy. Now, what the Jamaica Debates Commission does is we put on, present, and produce national political debates. So we do debates for local government elections, or in this case, parliamentary elections, that is general elections that are coming up shortly. And as you mentioned, in this cycle, there will be 3 debates, as is normal. So that is the same. And what is going to happen is the first debate is going to be a debate around social issues. The second debate will be around the economy. And the final debate will be the leaders' debate. So, I think it's going to be very, very exciting and interesting. But the fantastic thing about debate is that it gives the public an opportunity to assess those who are putting themselves in a position for leadership of the country side by side.
Yes.
In a situation which is unbiased, where there are equally fair questions.
But tough ones, usually.
They have to respond, and they have to respond. So it is different from, when you're on the campaign trail and it's party rhetoric and that kind of thing. No, this is a much more sober, much more controlled environment where they're asked the kind of questions that the public would like to know. And these questions are asked by a team of journalists. We have 2 journalists, and we have a third questioner, which is the public. The public can ask questions, and all they need to do is, for every day of the debate, just get involved, and you can ask questions. Hashtag Jamaica Decides 2025 or hashtag Jamaica Debates 2025. So the public gets a chance to have their say as well to impact on the debate. And,
even while the debates are happening then? Even while the debates are ongoing, you're saying the public can participate, I suspect, through social media.
Exactly,
okay.
Exactly. And what happens when the questions come in? We have a social media editor who is a professional journalist, and we have a team that goes through and looks on the questions. And what they do is, based on the questions, the flow of the debate and so on, your question can be asked. So it's very, very good. It's really an amazing opportunity for the public to get to interact and ask questions themselves.
Yes. Do you believe that these debates in some way sometimes influence the outcome of the elections?
It's funny that you say that. After every series of debates, we do exit poll research to ask about the efficacy of the debate. We don't ask who has won the debate, but we ask the kind of questions. Was the debate useful to you? Did it meet your expectations? Did it answer your questions? Was it relevant? Did it impact your vote? And what we found is that over 50% of people, near 50% of people said it impacted their vote. And what's interesting, we've had at times, like, I think it's like 20-something%. Mm-hmm. Don't hold me to that. I'm not looking on the research right now.
Yes.
It changed their vote.
Oh, really?
And more importantly, 67% of people say that debate should be mandatory. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. It should be mandatory because it is not mandatory. It is something that the political parties participate in willingly. It's not mandatory, like in certain countries like Argentina where it is law that political parties must debate. That's not the situation in Jamaica. However, what it is saying overwhelmingly is that the public believes in and trusts the debate, and it does impact on their decisions.
So these debates, I suspect, will be carried on local television and some maybe radio stations. And what of persons listening, as we have a lot of listeners in the diaspora? How can they actually access these debates?
Well, it is going to be on YouTube. Mm-hmm. It's going to be on radio. It's going to be on television. It's going to be on our website, JamaicaDebatesCommission.com. And, it's in social media space. You can get it on Instagram. So it's there. And then also our media partners at Carrot also have their own international broadcast where they can access it as well. So there are lots and lots and lots of ways for the public to interact and enjoy and watch the debate.
Are you at liberty, Brian, to state what are the dates of the debates? You mentioned the first, the second, and the third. We know who will be in the leadership debates. Obviously, that would be the Prime Minister and the leader of the opposition. But are you at this stage able to say who might be some of the participants in the economy, the debate on the economy, or the debate on social issues, and the dates and so on?
At this point, no, okay. I'm not able to say because we are finalizing with the dates with the parties now. In fact, we have a meeting scheduled for later on this afternoon to try and knock that out. Mm-hmm. Also, they will have to tell us who are their teams because they're team debates for the social issues and the economy, and there will be 3-person teams for either party. So they need to advise us now who those team members are. But, stay tuned because, we'll be doing our advertising and what have you. We'll be sharing, as soon as we have everything confirmed, we will be sharing with the public the dates, the teams, and so on. But stand by because it's close.
Yeah. Now, any details that you can share in relation to the format? I know usually persons are allowed sort of an introductory statement, and then there are also cases of rebuttal. What can you share in terms of the planned format that you'll take with these debates?
Okay, the format has been modified slightly this time around, and this is a response to the feedback from our research. In the research, people have said they want more questions. So what we've done is we've actually removed the opening statement that the parties normally make, and that is going to be replaced with questions. Oh. So that right there, we're going to get in a few more questions and answers. But what will happen is it's going to be the usual thing outside of that. They'll have 90 seconds to answer a question. You have a 30-second rebuttal, and coming down to the end of the debate, there will be closing statements by both parties, and of course, each party has an opportunity to ask a question of the other party towards the end of the debate. So it's going to be interesting. But like I said, we've listened to what the public has said, and we try our best to facilitate what the public wants. We learn a little bit from you. What you say, Richie? What you get,
what you want is what you get.
What you get, right?
Yes. All right, I'm very happy about that. Now, Brian, I know that on platforms like these, some facts are maybe stated or some things might be said, but they might not necessarily be 100% correct. Is there going to be some kind of real-time fact-checking during the debates so that maybe the moderator can make a correction or something like that?
Well, we are not, as a debate commission, we are not set up to do fact-checking in the way that, like a CNN and these big networks do. We are not set up like that. But part of what the journalists do and the moderator is they do fact checking while they are there. Because the moderator does have the ability to make corrections if corrections are necessary and so on. But also too, as you know, Richie, over the years, what has happened, the debates have become such an institution in our democratic process that journalists use the debates to fact check the political parties afterwards. Because you've seen many times stories come up where, a year or two later, or even just weeks after, days after, a news station or reporter says, in the debate you said so and so and so and so. That was not correct. And they fact check them. Also, too, what has been very interesting is that the debates have been used as a consistent source of follow-up.
Yes.
Because what was said on a public and national platform, and therefore the debaters are held accountable by the journalists. So there is fact checking. It is not immediate, and in some ways I think that is good because it allows the public to pay attention to what is happening in the debate. Because sometimes I find when we watch these debates overseas, we spend so much time reading the scroll and trying to fact check and see what the person is saying, which is important, but sometimes you lose some of the substance of what is going on.
Yes. Let me ask you now, Brian, as it relates to independent parties and or candidates, can they participate in the debate in any capacity whatsoever?
Okay. No parties are prevented by the commission from participating in any debate, right? However, like anything else, there are rules and criteria that must be met. And so, the criteria is right there on our website. We're very transparent. You go on the website, it is there criteria for political party participation. Now, some of the things are, one, a party must be registered under Section 52M of the Representation of the People Act. Basically, what that means is that you are registered as a legitimate, recognized political party by the Electoral Office of Jamaica. In essence, that's what that means. So you have to be a legitimate political party. The other thing is, prior to an election, that party would have had to have polled 5% of votes of public support in the previous election. Now, let us say, okay, there's a party that has come into existence in between, so they did not participate in the previous election. Can they participate? Yes, they can. But they would have to meet the criteria of getting 8% national support in a public poll, and an independent, recognized public poll. And the reason why it's 8% is that you have to account for margin of error, right? But when you think about it, I mean, that's a very reasonable bar. You have to be legally recognized, and you have to show that you have a level of support that says, well, yes, you do belong on the stage. And it needs to be a political party. That's also important, because an independent candidate can't form a government. A political party can, because they will have enough people competing for seats that they could form a government, or they could become something that's new, relatively new in politics, which is called a kingmaker, which is in these coalition governments that you've seen, like in the UK and Canada and so on, where the party that won didn't have enough seats to win outright, even though they won the most seats. And then other parties who won a few seats combine with them and form a coalition government. So we have recognized that is a possibility, and we try to accommodate that. In fact, the rules used to be more stringent. the percentages used to be higher, and we've reduced them because what we've tried to do is make the bar to entry easier. Mm-hmm. But you still have to have a standard.
Yeah, and the truth is, with that 8% margin, I don't believe anyone would be expecting any but the two major political parties then to participate. But as time is going so quickly, Brian, I don't know if persons are asking me already if you have decided on moderators and or the persons asking the questions, and if so, are you prepared to make those names public?
When we will go public with all of our information at one time.
Yes.
We already have our pool of moderators and pool of questioners that we draw from. And once we announce the debates and the dates and everything, we will also be announcing who the moderators and questioners are. But, I'm glad you brought up the moderators and questioners, Richie,
yes.
Because something that is very, very important. The commission has no impact on the questions. We do not determine the questions that are asked. The questions asked are asked by the journalists. So we hear the questions at the same time that the public does. That is during the debate.
And by extension, does that mean that you also do not instruct us to topics to be included?
What we do, and we always have done, is that we have pretty broad themes for the debate. So to kind of give the questioners some sort of guidance around areas that they could be asking questions on. Right? But we don't determine the questions. But basically what we do is we look on the things that are important to the public at a given point in time around a given area. So let us say, for argument's sake, if you're talking about social issues, we may say you could ask questions around environmental care, for instance, around the environment. And they can ask questions on that or not, and the questions they formulate are their own.
Okay, got you. We got a lot of information from you this morning, Chairman. I want to thank you for the time and for sharing all of this information with us. And as we progress, we might be finding it necessary to call upon you again. But thank you for the information shared this morning, and have a good day, Brian.
My pleasure, Richie. And, I would like to encourage everyone to watch, listen, decide, vote.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Take care. All the best.